Hey everybody, welcome back to Talking Cardboard. I'm your host, Cardboard Legacy, and over here we have Robert, Cardboard Squares, the co-host. And today this episode is actually focused on the card shop that I'm putting together in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So I purchased a building some time ago, and I've been keeping Robert up to date, and in the process, and it's been pretty exciting, pretty scary, and I just want to preface this episode by saying this is not just a big plug for the card shop. This is actually meant to give you insight into really what we're trying to accomplish, and the processes that are kind of going behind it and how much effort and hard work it is. So appreciate you guys checking this one out. Robert, anything you want to say before we get started?
Can't wait to come visit.
Nice. Yeah, he's already told me he wants to come be there for opening weekend or whatnot. It sounds like it's getting close, and I think we're going to be mid-summer. I think we're kind of upping the time. We were saying late summer, early fall before, and we're going to jump the time up a little bit because I think we have the capability, as long as everything gets shipped here on time, which according to right now, I believe is on schedule. So we should be in really good shape. So for anybody who doesn't know, I'm opening a card shop in my hometown, and I bought a building in November of last year. And well, my wife and I both bought it, but we've been clearing it out because it's been full of just a bunch of stuff. And I don't know if Robert, if you've seen any of those pictures, that I send any of those to you? Okay, I'll send some of those to you offline, and I'll share some of those later once we get closer to completion of the building. But there's just stuff strewn about everywhere, and it's pretty much in disarray. I always joke that I bought the cheapest commercial building in town, and I kind of knew what I was getting, but I kind of didn't, right? So it's been just kind of whirlwind of stuff, and every day it seems like there's something kind of new to discover about what's going on. Like, we didn't even know if we had an air conditioner. It turns out it's on our neighbor's roof. That's all there is to it. And there's an easement on the title. I mean, just weird stuff that you come across that nobody can imagine, right? So it's pretty interesting. So anyway, we're in the process, and we want to open this shop, and it's been just a wonderful, magical process so far, and it's testing, but it's also very rewarding at the same time. Stocking up cards, getting everything loaded up behind me, getting all the socials built, just a process, in general, everything that's going on. So I think you have a bunch of questions lined up for me, don't you?
I do. So first I want to talk about, like, location wise, how did you go about choosing the location?
Well, that was kind of a unique thing. So it's not based on demographics or any sort of value of what that retail area is like. No reasons behind that particularly. It does have a decent amount of traffic being in downtown Oshkosh on Oregon Street. But the kind of the key factor is it was a discovery that it was even for sale because I have a photography studio down there. And so I drove past it several times, and I saw the for sale by owner sign in the window. And, I was just thinking, well, wouldn't it be neat if I could have a card shop right down by my photography studio? You know what I mean? It's literally about 5 doors down, same block, everything. So it's like it's right there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of just a weird business functional placement type situation. But it's good because there's actually pretty good residential coverage in the area. It's on a strip of a street that mostly runs commercial up and down it. But then there's houses all spread around it, because it's town. So that was an easy one, I guess you could say. It's just because the price was good and what I was looking to do with it, I thought it could happen.
All right, and going from location, let's go ahead and talk about the size of the shop, possibly the layout and what people might expect to find when they walk in your doors.
Right on, right on. Okay, so the size of the shop, I'm going to share my screen because we actually have a graphic for this one. We're going super high tech, guys. We're taking our faces off the screen, and we're going to share some stuff too. So, all right, look at that. Okay, now the mouse is really small, you guys. So at this point, just see if you can follow it here. But so this is the first floor of the building, and this is the only part where the shop is going to exist at first. There's a chance it could take upstairs stuff, but maybe smaller chance than not. So this is the front over here on the right side of the image. This is a glass window with kind of some empty display area that I don't know if we'll be able to use properly or not. But at least we'll have shade. We'll put a shade in here so we're not blasting the sun in all the time on cards or people or whatever, make it annoying. We got really nice lights in the ceiling, covers the whole length of the floor. We just upgraded all of them to LED panels, so it's going to be super bright in there. You know, no dungeon look, because I know I've been to a few card shops where you can't even see anything. Robert, how about you?
Many a times, many a times.
So every once in a while, you know, is it a refractor? Nope, not really. But anyway, the rest of the building, so you can see the layout here. You come in the front door, my cursor's right there by the front door, and you're going to look to your right and you're going to see a desk for if anybody's selling cards to the shop that day. That'll be in like a concierge type area where you have the ability to sit down and sell cards to the shop. And then you've got running all this span right here. We've got 2 display cases wrapping a checkout stand. So it's a double checkout stand. So there'll be 2 kiosks for checkout, because if you get busy enough, you don't want to have a choke point in the store. So you'll have 2, and then a gap so people can get in back here. And I got to check, make sure fire code, I don't need any more gaps. We'll see if there's any other things I got to look at there, but that's something I'm still investigating. And then we've got 4 more display counters right here. So this is all going to have, these 6 displays will have slabs and high dollar, high grade singles. So that's the plan there. And then in the middle here, we're going to have some tables. These aren't exactly size, I don't think. These were just plucked in. They get a little shape thing that I was playing with, and I don't think they're the right size yet. But just tables for people who grab boxes off maybe the racks that are over here. Plan is to maybe have a TV above that, TV over here with chairs and a couch, a little bit of chilling area if you want to sit back with a box and check it out, or if you just want to watch TV or whatever, that's cool too. You know, we want to promote an atmosphere of culture, and you can hang out and talk sports and have a good time, you know.
Do some little UFC watch parties.
Sure. I mean, the sky's the limit with whatever we want to do, especially if we're selling, you know, a bunch of UFC out of the shop or something like that. If they're launching a product around that, I mean, that's cool. So back here, we'll probably have some storage or supplies type stuff. But back here, we're going to have a little bit of the eBay operation. So I got to have all that stuff set up over here. So we've got a computer probably here. And then this is where we're going to be, where we're racks of cards that are listed on eBay right now. So that way, you know, if someone wants to come in the shop and they say, hey, I saw this thing on eBay, can I get it here? And the answer would be yes. So you can look it up and find it, you know what I mean? So that's going to be cool. And then this back here, undeterminate on the number of size and shelves, but shelves for wax, basically. That's where all that stuff's going to be. So we're going to put all that on the top back right over here. So it's like 2,300 square feet, somewhere in that range. We got a bathroom down here, of course. And then this is a yet to be announced space right here. I'm not going to announce this to the general public just yet, because I'm not sure exactly what's happening with it. But it's kind of a mystery. It's a mystery room, but it's a bonus room. It's a neat little tiny space that you could accomplish storage or other tasks in. But I'll figure that out as we go. So I'll cut back from this. Unless you have any questions, let me know if you got any questions here.
No, I love the floor plan. It looks great for trade nights, which I'm assuming you're going to have, as everyone will.
Yes.
I'm just trying to think of like that front area that has a glass window. I mean, empty boxes, get a little mannequin, throw up a jersey, local team.
I mean, that's a possibility. Sure. There's going to be, so if you see my mouse cursor out here on the edge, there's going to be a nice logo in here. This is all glass on the outside. So we're going to put a big logo and store hour type stuff probably in that. And then we'll have, there's an awning above it too with a sign, or at least the colors of the logo. And then, oh, something I forgot about here, right here, when you step in the door, there's going to be a nice bulletin board of like what's happening, you know, when trade nights are, or, you know, anything, you know, anybody's got anything that they're trying to post up or something like that. I mean, we'll host a few pins. So it should be a good informative place to keep, to keep on the news of the shop. But yeah, okay, let me switch back off of that now. Let's see here. Boom, there we go. All right, so that's our layout. I actually made that on an app on iPad. Kudos to that company for making that cool app that I could make that with. That only took me like probably 4 hours to make that whole thing. So not too bad. Anyway, what do you got next for me, Robert? New question.
When going into, and you're seeing this a lot more and more if you go into any of your local card shops, and the goal I know and the premise for you is definitely sports. Are you going to dip and dabble into any of the TCGs, the Pokemon, the Magic, the Meta Zoo? Is there going to be anything other than sports at the shop?
So the short answer is not yet, not right away. I would say it's possible, definitely. There is a really good TCG shop in my town, and they've been doing business for a lot of years, and it's like I don't really know if I want to even try, like, because I don't want drama, and I don't want people to think that I'm trying to take anybody's business, even though I don't really care. It's just, I like sports, and I sold a large chunk of my Magic collection stuff right when I started in the sports to kickstart some purchases into the sports card stuff. So I kind of made my own life committal in that way. That doesn't mean
Same
that
way.
that doesn't, yeah, that's cool. That doesn't mean though that, I won't perhaps have wax there. I mean, it depends. If a bunch of kids are coming through and be like, hey, how come you don't have Pokemon 2 or something, or like also, I'd be like, well, take noted, and see how many times that happens. If it's 10, well, geez, probably we should have some Pokemon on the shelf or Magic or whatever, you know what I mean? Insert whatever TCG you want. But, I think they're all cool. I don't have any like ill will towards any TCGs at all. I think they're all neat. I think they all have cool art. And I think anybody who wants to play those games and have a good time with their friends, please do, because it sounds like fun. That's how I feel about it. So in the end, like, it's probably going to happen eventually, but not right away, because it's not something that I'm prevalently passionate about.
Completely understandable.
Right.
Let's get to the biggest thing anybody has, hours of operation.
Hours of operation have been something that I've kind of been trying to craft and formulate. I've looked at other stores kind of setups and the way that they do it. I've asked some shop owners about their hours, why they chose them, or what changes they've made that have made a difference already. So I've been trying to get a little insight into that stuff. So here's what I'm thinking. Monday is going to be closed, because you get orders over the weekend. You got a bunch of stuff to do. You might want to sort the shop, right? If you want to have a clean shop for people, you got to take time to actually do some sorting once in a while. So I'm thinking Monday is just nothing, period. Zero, no card shop at all. And then Tuesday through Friday will be most likely somewhere between a 10 or an 11 start and a 6 to 7 close. So whatever that, hour shift is that I might settle on. I don't really want to split it into a half an hour to do a 10:30. That just seems weird to me. But 10 seems like it could be cool, but I just feel like most people don't get lunch if they're going to worry about going somewhere in the day. They don't get it till about 11, right? And so opening at 11, I think you catch 90% of people. And then you can be open until 7. That gives people who have to work till 5 2 hours to get in the shop, or go home and get their kid from daycare, whatever, come to the shop if that's a priority of theirs. There's a lot of options for people out there, right? But like, stopping at the card shop is not a first priority. So making it easy for them to come to the shop by having some, into the slight evening hours, I think makes a ton of sense. How do you feel about the weekday hours?
I love the weekday hours. Like, for me, like a bunch of the shops I go to, usually Monday, Tuesday are their days that they're closed. So that fits right along those lines of that's actually why they do it, whether it be from online sales, whether it be from the weekend's break, which
Right.
hopefully we'll have coming out of Cardboard Legacy.
Yes, hope so, man. Hope to do a lot of them. We'll talk about that.
So that allows you to get into all your organization, your shipping, all that kind of stuff behind the scenes. The weekly cleanup, maybe a
Yep.
little staff meeting, get together with your boys, girls, whoever may be working there. Hopefully, we get some more ladies into the hobby because we need to raise that 5% number.
Let's go.
But it's just one of those things where I've been to some shops where their closing time was 7 or 8, and they'll have 15, 20 people in there still buying packs. And hey, guys, we're closing.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like one of those things like if you have 15, 20 people in there, I understand you have a set time,
Right. I
but
would never close.
it's always hard for me to see that. So like that was kind of like my question was if you have the following there and you realize that maybe going into a later night, maybe shift the hours even further, maybe go right after lunch, let someone have a full belly come in
Yep.
and get the dessert, a nice little slab, and then if it
Sure.
stays later. Because that was one of the things that I always had when I was getting out of work at 9 or 10 at night. There was nowhere for me to go.
True.
And
Yeah, there's no shops open real late, I would say by any stretch, if it was noticeable that, we were busier during closing hours, close to closing times, that we should make it, a push to stay open later or staff it an hour longer or half an hour or test it out, see what works. I'm gonna try to be there personally as many hours as the place is open. That's my kind of like goal to myself, just I want to make sure this thing works. I want to make sure it's awesome. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of knowledge, that needs to happen behind the scenes. Can't just give it to your employees and they run it, it doesn't work that way. There's intuition involved too, so but yeah, so then Saturday hours, that was a little bit of a rant, sorry folks. Saturday hours are going to be something like 10 to 4, open 6 hours. I think that gives everybody plenty of time to get there between morning and afternoon, and then we're not going to close Sundays. We'll have a 4-hour open, probably from like 11 to 3 or 10 to 2, somewhere in there.
now, are you going to change that with football season? Because I mean,
Yeah, we would potentially look at stretching that during football season, but actually opening later. So
yeah.
more like opening at noon and then maybe closing at 6, maybe putting a 6-hour Sunday, spread in there. So if anybody wants to be in there watching football, ripping packs, talking about this year's draft class or whatever you want, that's totally open to adjustment.
That was one thing for me. Like on opening day, I've done it for the past 3 years. I go to a baseball shop or card shop, whatever it is, put the first game on the TV, get a box of the brand new series, crack some packs.
I like it.
I try to hunt for the dudes who are at bat. So I'll wait for a certain team to play and I'll try to find that guy. And it's a little knick-knack, paddywhack type thing I do, but it adds to it.
Entertainment. It's got some entertainment value.
Makes it fun for me. If he strikes out, I don't get to open the pack. If he gets on base, I get a pack. I
love it. So some like a little bit of roulette there.
Exactly. Now the biggest thing, and I've quickly realized this with a lot of people from brick and mortar to even just online sales in general. Where are you going to find your staff, or do you already have staff members in mind that you would like to come on board?
Well, thank you to you for being my first unofficial unpaid volunteer staff member, because you've been doing this show with me now for 5 episodes, guys. That's awesome. So subscribe and like, do all the stuff. And then so it's probably going to be pretty easy. I think people are going to come in, people are going to get interested. I think people will volunteer. I think people will come in and say, hey, what does it take to work here? Are you hiring people? Because who doesn't want to work at a sports card shop if you love sports cards, right? And I may or may not have a sign on the window that says help wanted. I mean, that should be pretty obvious to people if that happens, right? But literally, I think if you put an ad out in a card group, a local Wisconsin card group, I think it would be cool to find people who are into cards at least to start with, so that you have some people who have knowledge in the hobby. I haven't thought about acquiring them too much. I did get a phone call from some local gentlemen that were younger and were potentially interested in working there. And I, told them keep their eyes open. They said, well, we'll be there when it opens. And I said, wonderful. I said, wonderful. That's great. So it'll be good to see you. I do forget their names at the moment, but it was exciting to hear somebody was excited, also that it was coming and wanted to be there and potentially even work there already. Right. Doesn't even exist yet. And so hopefully, yeah, hopefully that works out and we can have some employees like that.
Now, with the shop ownership comes a lot more steps that you may not see until you get there. Do you think it's going to be an immediate impact of trying to get your name into the shows around the area, or do you just want to focus on the shop for a while to get founded in the area and then take the name on the road?
So I'd like to do some shows. I don't have any traveling cases at the moment like that, and I don't want to invest in those when I'm putting all this money into the shop. It seems like splitting a little bit too much too early. And I get it that there's a lot of value in going to those local card shows and networking with, local card people. That's absolutely essential to build relationships, especially locally. But there was something that I did today that was pretty neat. I actually went and visited the two, what I would call the best, closest card shops to me. So I went on a little trip and I actually talked to both the owners of those shops today. And that's important to me. Those guys go to the show. You know what I mean? If I need to know anybody in the area, I think those guys are the better guys to know for now. And then as I get more recognition and stuff, I would like to go to shows. But as it stands, having my other job as a photographer and managing a shop, I'd love to leave the shop. Maybe I don't have anybody who wants to work the shop. You know what I mean? So that instantly becomes an issue and something I can't do then, right? So yes, I want to do shows. I haven't done any since I was like 13. So, I mean, I know what happens at a show. I'm not inexperienced at a show. I've been to them. I go to them, but I don't actually sell at them. I take my little case, I've sold cards at a show, not as a dealer there though. You know what I mean? So.
And see, this is the thing that I think that a lot of people may not see, depending on where you come from, what state, what area, what region. It's like me just moving from Florida. Florida being such a heavily populated state, we have shops all over the place. You go into the big cities, the Tampas, the Jacksonvilles, the Miamis, and it almost seems like there's one on every corner. What is the demographic of your area? Like these other card shops, what's the relation to where you're going to be located, and
Sure.
what's the relation to the home? I mean, is it a 5-minute drive? Is it a day trip for you to go to a card shop?
For me right now, the closest one that I would consider a card shop that I want to buy something from, has good display and good people in it, that kind of thing, is 25 minutes, which isn't far, but it's not a dedicated card shop either. And it's not just memorabilia. It's got, just regular kind of men's and women's clothing, more like athletic clothing, not memorabilia type stuff. So it's a sports shop kind of.
Active shop.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of different things in there. So it's tough, but so it's not a true card shop, in my opinion. It doesn't have much hobby selection at all. There's a lot of pricier retail stuff, is what I would say in the end. But I was flipping through some of the singles boxes today, and I found some cards. I found uh, $5 cards and one $2 card, or $6 cards and one $2 card. Yeah, that's what it was. Some Joe Montana, Jerry Rice inserts from the 90s. I was like, yeah, sure, for $1. I looked at them. The corners were real nice, so I was like, why not? So I grabbed those, but there was no kind of order to it. It was really chaotic in how the boxes were spread and layout and stuff. And I don't want to have anything like that going on. But the other one I went to is like wall to wall hobby wax, and it's a way different experience. That's what I like to call a real card shop. People who have a selection for you, no matter what itch you have to scratch. I mean, you can go in there, you can buy WWE, you can buy NASCAR, you can buy NBA. I mean, it's all the latest stuff. He's got all of it coming in. It's amazing. Shout out to Tim at Tim's Sports Card and Diecast in New Franken, I think it is, Wisconsin. It's outside of Green Bay. If it's not New Franken, it's something else. But anyway, that's a really, really cool shop. I like that place. I like the owner, seems like a wonderful dude. And he does shows there. He's got a room, he does it in the back. It's pretty cool. So anyway, kudos to him. He runs a great operation there.
So now, obviously, the biggest thing with any kind of card shop is cards. So obviously, singles, the slabs, those are all things that we can do on our own time. But can we give the people who think that this might be a route that they want to go down to, or think that it might be easy, can we talk a little bit about the allocation process, or how to get on a list, or what that might look for you going down into the future?
Right. So there's actually quite a bit that goes into applying for any sort of relationship with a distributor. Southern Hobby and I think they're the biggest one, and then there's a couple others. Even applying with Upper Deck and Leaf cards, you can do that direct. But there's like a couple major things that you need from most of these people. You need to be open 40 hours a week or more. You need to be in a brick and mortar store. Some of these are requiring you to send pictures to validate your store for their process. And then, you got to be able to buy the product when they're offering it. If you pass on everything they're offering, I'm pretty sure they're going to offer less to you, right? So you got to be able to buy some of what they're offering. Got to have money to do that, obviously, capital, right? But gaining a relationship with somebody locally is key. I do have the name of a local distributor, and the only reason I haven't continued process with them is because I don't have any of the required stuff as far as the pictures go, because we have this shop in the works of being built, right? So it's not there. I don't want to lie to them and say I have it before I have it. I'm going to play the game the right way. But as far as collecting sales tax, I've sold on eBay. This is a really kind of a niche topic right here, but selling on eBay, they collect sales tax for you. So you don't actually have to submit sales tax to all these different states that you're selling cards to, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to submit it to your own because you're not charging tax. They are, and they're keeping that tax. So that's the difference, right? So I haven't had to have necessarily a state sales tax license is what it's called. Haven't had to have that one yet for the cards. So I'll be putting together an LLC soon, so that I can actually do all the stuff I want to do with the distributors as well. Gets me the process of getting a federal employee ID number, all these crazy things that you got to go through once you start hiring employees. So there's a laundry list of kind of bureaucratic hoops and things that you have to jump through, right, to get all this going. And if anybody ever wants to talk about that, just let me know, DM me or anything like that. If you got advice or if you have questions, either way, I don't care. I like talking about that stuff because there's a lot going on.
So when the doors first open, what's the dream grand opening for Mr. Nick?
Jesus, I mean, can we get 20 people to come in? I don't know. I mean, 20 people that buy something that day, maybe I'd set the bar at that. 20 customers in one day for the first day would be something probably incredible, right? Because at least there's enough people there to make you feel like you did something good. But sustainable business is really the dream, right? I want to create. I mean, the grand opening is going to be fun because it's the first day, and it's going to be exciting for people to see it. It's going to be exciting because a lot of the work you see come, to full close and fruition in a way, but then it starts a whole new chapter, So the dream opening is really just being surrounded by all the people that were helpful in the process and supported, everything that I was trying to do and what my wife and I are trying to do, and could help make it happen with us. I think that's going to be the coolest part of it. Yeah, we want people to come in and buy stuff, but really we want to build a community of people. It's all about the collectors. It's all about the hobby. I want to be one of the more transparent places around as far as this stuff's concerned. So.
And here's one thing that I've always seen, and I've seen it a lot in the TCG community, especially when you're doing either trade-ins or sales of cards. Are you going to have a predetermined number, say, per comp for someone trying to sell you or trade you? Because that's one thing for me. Like, I've gone into shops and Some people I won't do it unless it's 60%. Some people give you 80. And for me as a consumer, I understand that I'm offering something that obviously either I don't want because it's not my personal collection. So I'd like
Right.
to get either more product that I can open and find who I want, or it might be a card that, maybe I bought for, 50, $100 2 months ago, but I see that it's come up, 50, 60%.
Sure.
How will you, or what's the thought process that you put into acquiring cards from your clientele?
Sure. So, I mean, there's all sorts of different kinds, and to be honest with you, I haven't had many people approach me with slabs in the local area. So that's been kind of in just a weird situation in general, because I would have thought maybe some more newer collectors or serious collectors would have wanted to get out of it and try to sell to anybody locally. You know what I mean? I'm right on Google, so I would have expected to have seen something like that. But most of the calls or most of the people that want to sell to me locally right now, it's all a lot of raw cards. It's in it. Most of it is older stuff, and when I say older, pre 2000. It might be like 1960s, which is cool, but usually it's all beat up and trashed, and that's all I've really ever run across. And I bought it, but that's cool to have some of those older cards, and there's a market for some of those and still in decent condition, right? But not most of them aren't in that good a condition. You end up trying to sell them for nothing and then just sit out there forever. But so there's varying different types of people that come to you to sell, and most of them kind of have a number in mind when they show up, and I like to ask them ahead of time. I'm like, is there a number that you're looking for on this? And some people are like, I have no idea what it's worth, so you have to kind of go through it with them, and that's tough. How much time do you spend doing it if you want to go card by card on a bunch of raw stuff that's from the late 90s? You know what I mean? That's really really individually tough. So you look at it and you got to go, it is what it is. I'm sure someone's combed through it and pulled out Peyton Manning's rookie or whatever, is going on. It's like, if you find that stuff, great, but you're not expecting to find those miracle jackpots when you're buying bulk stuff that you can't just thumb through the whole thing for. So that's a lot of what I see. Honestly, I get a lot of bulk, older stuff, base cards, things like that. But once in a while, somebody comes with some modern stuff, and I try to value that. Typically, if it's something really liquid that I can sell, I'll give them 70% on an average comp. You know what I mean? And I comp off of basically right now, just looking at 130 point or eBay research. Terapeak research goes back a year, so you can watch a full curve on it instead of just 90 days, which is what most people get on eBay. So you get that with a seller account. Just a pro tip there. But so the liquid stuff, I'll give you 70% for. But if it's new and it's shitty, like whatever, just some weird slab or whatever, 50%, man. I mean, it's not going to move. It's going to be tough. I got to discount it anyway, sell it under what you wouldn't be able to find the prices of that stuff on eBay for less than what I'd have to sell it for to move it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you get some crappy slabs and you might be selling them for $7, $8. What do you really want me to pay you for that? Four, maybe. So it's like, it's tough. It's really tough to do that, because for $3, there's bigger fish out there and I don't need it. But you want the courtesy and I want the cards. So we come to that agreement, I guess, at that point. So, people making deals too. I mean, people said, hey, I just want $1,000 for all this. And it's like, I look at enough of it and I'm like, okay, I'll do the deal. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'll make money. I know I will. I've flipped people extra money and flipped them extra $200 sometimes. I'm like, don't, it's worth way more than that, man. Here's 200 extra bucks, So in the end, I try to give people a reasonable amount, and I try to keep myself healthy on the business side of things. Because if you end up doing this wrong, you lose money on transactions, and it sucks because you put too much time and effort into it. You buy 10,000 cards, it takes forever to sort, sift, tag, price, you know what I mean? All the stuff that you got to do for those cards. There's a lot of effort that goes into that I don't think a lot of people think about when they're trying to sell you cards, especially in bulk, right? But if it's just one hot slab, some Joe Burrow, patch auto thing, it's like, okay, yep, I can do maybe 75%, on comps, maybe 80 if it's a really cool thing, and I maybe have a buyer in mind lined up already, stuff like that. That's something else I kind of want to do. I want to keep a list of people's, PC cards. What do we need? I almost sent you a picture of a Wando today when I was in the shop. I'm sure you would have enjoyed that, but I was too chatty with the owner. It was a good time.
Your little black book.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, it varies, it varies a lot. If you're talking about junk wax from the 90s, well, it better be almost free. I'll pay you $10 for 10,000 cards. That's about where I'll go with that.
Here's something I've always had too, is because I do know that depending on your level of store and as your allocation grows and you become, partners with the upper decks and the Leafs and get into the tops and all that market and fanatics, I guess, over the next couple of years with some major sports.
Yep, let's hope so.
What's in your mind, what's better for you, buying cash or trading product?
Oh, geez. I mean, I could do either, right? I don't know. Well, cash. I'm not going to cheat on my taxes. I just want everybody to know that. I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay all my sales tax. I'm going to charge sales tax. That's just gonna how it's going to be, because I heard card shops like to get audited. It's just something that happens. So anyway, we're going to do that all right from the beginning, so we don't have to worry about it later. And then back to the question again. I got sidetracked there.
Uh, Buying in cash or trading?
There you go. Okay. So yeah, trading product is a cool idea. I mean, you have margin on it already, right? So at face value, you're already winning your margin. And then
That's kind of what I'm thinking, because like the way I look at, like, personally for me, like I'm probably, well, I won't say the biggest, but I'm a large opener of 2021 Bowman. And on release day, it's 100, 115 a box. And right now that hobby box is sitting anywhere between $250 and $300 a box.
wow.
So if you're being a distributor, getting from the distributor, even if you're paying that 120 to 150 and you're going to go by market value, I just see that being is like a double win, because you're receiving the face value of it, then it's also the market value. So if it's $1,000 market value, but it's really only $400 or $500 cost, but you're
Right.
trading it out for $1,000 value, it's like a win-win.
Yeah.
I don't think enough consumers have that. I think they try to go for the buck versus, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're trying to do, whether it be get the cash or get more product.
Right. Well, little known thing too, though, is sometimes you'll get an initial, 4 or 5 boxes of something, if you're a smaller allocation place, or you might only get 2 or 1, right?
Mhm.
They might only offer you one Topps Inception Baseball 2021 or 2022, sorry. They might only do that. And then you'll be like, okay. And they'll be like, it's at regular price. You get the first one at 120 or whatever it is for that you pay for, right? And then they might call back and say, okay, hey, we got 3 more of these if you want them, but they're now 200. And so, you never know what they're actually gonna pay. You can't always just assume that they paid, distributor or wholesale pricing for that stuff. That's kind of I think it's a little bit of a misnomer, but yes, there's always a markup built into it. So it's way advantageous if you trade, store credit against wax, right? You could almost say that you give somebody 90% comps.
That's kind of where I was going with it, just
Yeah,
because it depends on liquidity of the item.
right,
But it's just like, I feel like it's almost it's better for both parties. For one, an owner, you're not getting rid of capital in case that one of one shield does walk in. But
hmm,
also, consumer, if you're really passionate about the hobby, there's nothing you love more than cracking wax.
yeah, and I would say a good example of that. Let's say somebody walks in the shop with a $500 value card, right? I look it up; it comps out at $500 to me. That's what I'll pay them, right? And they say, well, I want to do, I want to trade it for some wax. And I'll be like, oh, okay. And I would say, well, then you can have $550 in credit. I would give them another 10%. You know what I mean? Because I think that makes it more fair to them in the exchange. So hopefully I can stand by that and make that real. But it just that's something that I think could be cool for everybody. Shop gets a card that they can liquidize, and then the person collector gets another box they can hopefully enjoy.
I also find that it brings the people back, because it's like, if I come to you and I say, hey, take one of these rainbows, put on display, I'm looking to trade some wax.
Sure.
For me, it's one of those things that I'm going to sit down in that shop, open that wax, and if I happen to get that banger card, guess who I'm selling it to?
Me.
To you.
Yep.
It's truly like one of those things where I don't think that it's nearly pushed enough. You see a lot of people doing trades for card on card, but like, I guess I said, it depends on where you're at in the hobby, whether it is a singles flipper, whether you're, just a passionate collector,
Right.
whether you're a hobby enthusiast, you like to crack the wax. There's all those different variances that go into that part of the system for depending on who you are. But that's always interested me. Like, it's just been, what do they do? How do they come up with it?
Right, right. And I'm going to go off topic here for a second because I want to point something out. I want to have I want to have people in there who are doing pack battles. We'll set up some cool pack battles and have some tournaments, because I know you can do some really fun stuff with that. Like, do pack battles and give away a case of something. Like, that would be awesome. I think that'd be super amazing. A bunch of people show up. We have pack battles for a couple hours. Everybody has a great time, and someone goes home, big time winner, and it's really cool. I want to have trade nights. I want to have kids trade days or nights. I want to distinguish some different people, and I got people who actually ask me if they can come play their TCGs there already. People that just know that there's going to be a space, and it's like, that's cool. So
sometimes that's all that people are looking for is, like, especially when COVID happened and people couldn't go out anywhere. I remember, I had a shop down in Florida that they weren't allowed to have customers in there. So we said, okay, what if we did a private rental during the evening?
Sure.
Not open to the public. It's
Right.
completely private.
Right.
But everyone comes in, they wash their hands, they sanitize.
Right.
But it's just having that comfort. Just the human contact is one thing, but also knowing that you have a place where you can go and feel safe.
Right.
And also that you're not going to be looked at like, oh, what are you doing?
Right. It's going to be interesting, because I think we can create a little culture and a little community of people that want to hang out and talk and do the things that we're doing. You know what I mean? There's passion in the hobby. I know it's around this town. Then I bump into people all the time, and they're like, oh yeah, I got cards and this, and I used to do that, or I still do, or whatever, and it's like, this is cool, man. Just catching up with people that you didn't even know collected.
And back on the allocation aspect, is it going to be, or do you feel that it's almost, so with the watch game, when you go into a watch boutique or a Rolex dealer, most of the time they do not have the exact product that you're looking for.
Sure.
But to get that product to be put on a wait list, the only way to be put on that wait list is to have purchased a Rolex. So you're forced into buying a product that you don't want in the hopes of getting that product that you do want. Is that something that no matter what happens, like let's say you get, that deal with Upper Deck, do you feel that you're forced to kind of put money into a product that maybe will not fly off the shelves just to get your foot in the door with them? Or are you going to wait until the product of your choice comes out that you like?
Well, part of, maybe they might have some rules, or they have, certain requirements of purchases, right, in a period of time. You know what I mean? And if it looks like you're only going to see some junk for that period of time from them, they give you the list and you're like, shit, that's all. What are you going to do, right? And if you have to purchase something to keep your account active, or they might have some stringent rules like that. You never know. But really the answer to that is, yeah, I'll probably buy some stuff that may not fly off the shelves to potentially further establish a relationship. I would hope that maybe counts as hockey, Upper Deck Series 1 and 2 hockey, at least. And you know what I mean? I would love to buy some of that if they offered it. I think that would sell, not fly, but sell at least.
Well, let's talk about that. With your region and being in the north, what do you think would be the number one selling sport in the shop?
I believe two things differently from each other. So I have two opinions. I think if I really focused on football, it would be a football maniac shop, because the Green Bay Packers have just been forefront dominant to the Wisconsin, fan base for so long, right? Just seasons over 500, if you even want to just look at that as a measuring stick, right? They've been pretty darn good for a while. And so, you could have a rabid fan base of football collectors. That's totally real. But on the other hand, my own, I think, deeper passion into card collecting is basketball cards. Now, I would tell you that I watch more physical football on TV, but I see a lot more highlights of basketball on my phone. So it's kind of like this weird balance of things, right? But in the end, it's going to be strong football, basketball, and then I would say the last, third or heavier hitter is going to be baseball in the shop. So, it could kind of go either way, but I'll tell you the collection that's going to start in the shop is more basketball heavy, which may disappoint some people, at least in slabs and general size of the amount of cards.
Now with this Wisconsin, the college level is a little bit different. I.e., let's look at Florida again. You have, University of Miami, FSU, UF, UCF.
Right.
In my head, the only school that I really know from Wisconsin is Wisconsin.
Yeah, in Madison. Yep. We count Marquette as a local team to us. And then what's the other one? Green Bay, Phoenix, UWGB, I think it is. They're not obviously in the big time stuff, but they're a different division. I don't do college sports that much to know which stuff everybody's in, but yeah, it's pretty much just Madison, UW Madison.
And just from like the relevance I've seen along, like I went to a football game once, University of Miami versus Nebraska, 100,000 person stadium, 80,000 of them were from Nebraska.
Right.
So it's like, I feel like that when you only have those one or two college teams, it's a lot larger of a following, a lot more of a diehard fandom because that's all that you have.
Sure.
So do you think that, in some areas, the collegiate stuff doesn't sell as well, or people sometimes don't want it? Do you find that might be a small niche for you, being as though you only have one major university that can kind of help bring people in a little bit?
That's a really interesting point. And there's some fun factor in it that a lot of Madison Badger players, literally are superstars, have been superstars and respected classes and basketball and whatever, all the different stuff. I think it's really big that the Badgers are pretty much the biggest name in the state, but I haven't really seen a way to capitalize on the cards per se. I mean, I run across a lot of the college cards in collections from people, like ton of Ron Dane and, stuff like that. Who's the other guy that's on Denver? Just blanking out on his name.
What about Jonathan Taylor? I mean,
even Jonathan Taylor. Yep. I mean, super.
I think he had 31.5% of the total yards from scrimmage for
Melvin Gordon's the other guy I was thinking about
in the NFL this year. So it's like literally the most active player in the NFL.
Yep.
And like when I see his stuff, like I find it in bargain bins all the time, like
right.
Even in the Wisconsin uniform, and I'm buying it. Like if you're going to sell me an out of 50 for $2,
let's go.
I'm going to buy it up all day long.
Right.
I mean, he's in my mind, to me, a little bit off topic, but Jonathan Taylor's this era's Edgerrin James.
Ooh, that's a good take. I like that one. I do. I like that one a lot.
He's a monster. But it's just like I always look at those states that don't have the 3, 4, 5 teams like some of these states have, as it being that kind of college could be that little niche. And
sure.
Also, it might be the easiest way to, especially with colleges and NIL deals, maybe get some of those batters into the shop. Or, hey, let's cross-reference you here right now. Let's do their photo shoot.
Right. Yep. Yeah, because I do photography too, so we can do some fun stuff with that too. A little photo booth off to the side or something like that. Fun. And the one of the other things I'll mention is we have the Wisconsin Herd in town, which is a men's G League for the Bucks, which is really cool. So the arena is actually like 6 blocks away from my building. So that's something I want to try to make a partnership and further along and capitalize. Gentleman's name is Nick. Coming for you, Nick. We're going to talk again. Got your email.
And,
all right.
My last question for you is going to be kind of where every place is going. I find that you walk into a card shop these days for maybe one of 3 to 4 reasons: A, to buy; B, to sell; C, to get stuff graded. Is there any grading company that you want to reach out to and possibly partner up with to become a registered, service provider for that grading company?
I absolutely do. SGC responded to me, and I'm going to follow up with them, but they said they weren't accepting new ones right now. I'm pretty sure PSA is probably in the same boat. You know what I mean? But I might look to do something like Sports Card Investor does. He uses gotbaseballcards.com as a partner to him to submit, and I may partner up with somebody else, although I find that tricky and hard to think about after the Mark's card thing. I don't know if you heard anything about that, Robert. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that whole thing has me guessing whether or not I should even trust a third party or just submit directly to these places. Now, um, I don't know if I'll even be able to negotiate the same prices as some of these other services, but it's worth a shot. It's worth looking into. RCG Royal is on my short list, and they've already said that they would love to as soon as I have my shop open. That sounds wonderful to me. So I'll pursue that avenue and give that option to my customers. I think the proof's in the pudding. When people look at those slabs, I think they'll really enjoy them. And then I'd love to have a relationship with Beckett, but I don't know how possible that is either. It's something I have to explore yet.
Is there anything else you want to say about the shop that maybe I didn't hit that you definitely want to get in there?
Well, we're doing a giveaway for our Instagram. I didn't want to forget that. So we got this nice box of illusions here. Turn it the right way so we can get no sparklies on it. We're giving this away, free shipping, domestic United States. All you got to do is go to Instagram and look at the latest post that says 3,000 follower giveaway. And then there's some instructions in there. If you'd like it, you tag 2 people, you go to YouTube and you subscribe to this channel and you comment on the last video. So that's it. And once you do that, you're entered to win. And I'm going to probably draw here at the end of the month. I think that's prudent. We'll give it 10 days from today. So, today's date. Happy 420, everybody.
Happy 420, everybody.
Right on. So the closing of the show here, I just want to thank everybody. There's a lot of people in this process that are coming along. Robert's even one of them at this point. He's there. Love to look at that. So he's been real helpful to me, and so thank you, Robert. I appreciate your help in coming along on this journey somewhat with me, and I know you're excited to be there for the opening of shop, and I think that's amazing. So thank you. And so yeah, literally thank you to everybody else that's in progress, especially my wife. So she's done so much to get that building in shape, and it's been amazing. So we'll give you an update soon when we get closer to a launch. We'll probably I might start doing a little bit more behind the scenes videos and showing people some of the process once we start, really starting to put things together. But we've got probably 2 months before we're thinking about opening the doors officially, I think, at this point. So could be 3, could be 2, but I don't think it'll be less than 2 at this point. I don't think we can do that. So, all right, guys, this is the end of the episode. Please like, please subscribe, tell your friends, whether we're good or we're bad, just tell your friends. Robert.
Have a good one.
All right.